Hey smart people, Joe here. Here's what your preschool teacher probably taught you about how butterflies are made. Cute little caterpillar just eats and eats and eats and gets all fat, and then it eats some more, and then it builds itself a sleeping bag and crawls in, and something happens, and voila, a butterfly pops out. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's a lie. In fact, no book has done more to mislead the world's young people about the biological marvel known as metamorphosis than this one. What actually happens when a caterpillar morphs into a winged, marvelous adult is so flippin' cool. Some of nature's most remarkable biological processes. And all of that mind-blowing stuff happens in this part that the book just skips over. The transformation is less very hungry caterpillar and more gremlins. Unlike humans, who come out of the womb looking like little squishy versions of our adult selves, caterpillars transform their entire bodies into something completely different, with entirely new body parts. They basically live one life, but as two completely different animals.
The process of metamorphosis for a butterfly is pretty fascinating, and they grow through 4 different stages: egg first, and then a larval stage where they're feeding on the foliage, and then they really go through what some people call that black box period. They are pupating into a chrysalis, and that's where a lot of changes really happen before they enter the adult stage as an adult butterfly.
This process, where an animal completely changes from one form into another, is called holometabolism. Going through this type of complete metamorphosis is surprisingly common. About 8 in 10 insects, including beetles, flies, bees, and ants, live and grow this way. Butterflies just get all the attention because this is much cuter than this. Most female butterflies lay eggs on very specific host plants, since nearly all caterpillars eat plant matter. Female butterflies choose the ideal leafy nurseries based on leaf color, plant shape, or by tasting leaves with their legs. The things we call caterpillars are butterfly larvae, the second stage of this strange life. All caterpillars come out of the egg equipped with all the genetic programming and cellular building blocks that they'll need to morph into butterflies later. These building blocks come in the form of imaginal discs. Basically, little seeds made of cells that'll eventually grow into adult butterfly parts like antennae, eyes, and wings, but that happens later. Right now, caterpillars are basically stomachs with mouths on a mission to get chunky.
Their primary goal as a larva is to consume and acquire as many calories as they can to really fuel their process of metamorphosis.
During this chow down phase of life, caterpillars can grow up to 100 times their original size. For example, monarch butterfly caterpillars can fit on a pencil eraser when they hatch, but in a matter of weeks, they'll get more than 5 times longer and nearly 1,000 times heavier, sometimes eating more than 100 leaves a day. But caterpillars are doing more than eating during this life stage. They're starting the next stage of their metamorphosis now. As caterpillars grow, they shed their skin or molt multiple times. Each time they look just a little different on the outside and on the inside. A while back when I visited butterfly researcher Arno Martin, he made a small incision in the side of the caterpillar and pulled out this.
That's a larval wing. That's a baby wing. Here we go.
The future adult wing of the butterfly already growing inside the caterpillar. As they grow, caterpillars develop wing buds, like internal proto-wings that will one day grow into the full-size thing. These proto-wings, along with many other proto-organs like eyes and reproductive business, are already partially there in the larva. They're just waiting for one special signal that tells them when to grow. Once caterpillars finish their second to last molt before chrysalisification, their bodies release a big dose of a growth hormone that tells them to stop eating and look for a good place to hang out. Literally, for a few weeks. This stage is basically butterfly puberty, and it's pretty awkward for them too. Once the caterpillar finds the perfect spot, it secretes a little dab of silk. Yeah, spiders aren't the only ones who make that stuff, and it hangs itself from it.
So at that stage, instead of having a new skin underneath it that looks like a caterpillar, the next skin is really the cuticle made of chitin of that chrysalis stage. And it's a really cool transition because you can see a lot of the outlines of the future butterfly on that pupal case.
So yeah, a chrysalis is not a silk sleeping bag that they spin and then crawl into. It's their skin. They take off their old skin like a jacket, and their new body is inside. This isn't kids' book stuff. This is more like Silence of the Lambs. So now we're on Metamorphosis stage 3, where the caterpillar is now a pupa. Thanks to all the energy and protein it stored up during the larva phase, the pupa is physiologically self-sufficient and lives off the nutrients it consumed as a caterpillar. And if you thought the run up to the pupa stage was weird, just wait. Things get even stranger and cooler from here. For starters, a whole lot of dying. See, the cells that a caterpillar doesn't need anymore, they self-destruct. This cell death is also triggered by hormones. Those hormones tell cells to activate digestive enzymes to break apart the cell's proteins and other parts, and the pupa recycles this protein to fuel the rest of metamorphosis. So yeah, pupa essentially eat themselves. A caterpillar's muscles, jaws, most of its gut, its stubby little legs, they all break down because an adult butterfly doesn't need them. And while things are reorganizing and growing inside the chrysalis, the new parts the future butterfly will need are already there on those imaginal discs, growing into their final form. Now, for a long time, I couldn't see what was going on inside of a chrysalis. But with modern technology like CT scans, we can watch the science happen. This is the inside of a chrysalis, and you can see that at the beginning, not a lot going on. You can see the digestive tract in the middle and the caterpillar's breathing tubes. You can even see the proto-wings. But none of this really looks like a butterfly yet. But over time, the butterfly's eyes get bigger and more complex. It grows antennae. Its body shape changes. And of course, those proto-wings grow into their full flappy splendor. Now that the caterpillar is done becoming a completely new animal, the adult butterfly is ready to emerge from the chrysalis. And this part of the process is known as eclosion. It starts when the butterfly's brain releases yet another hormone that gives it the strength to bust through the chrysalis wall like the Kool-Aid Man. And once the butterfly is free, it hangs upside down, pushes a blood-like substance through its wings to help them expand. This finally allows the wings to dry and harden enough so the butterfly can take its first flight. So that's the how. The deeply strange ways insects transform their squishy little larval bodies into their final forms.